Rex has got a prior appointment. He might be a little late. It looks like he will be a little late. And is there any additions to the agenda? Board's wishes. Brenda moves that acceptance of the agenda. All in favor?
Thanks. I can't get my mic on fast.
Carried. Approval of the September 19th, 2017 MPC minutes. Ben has moved. Is there any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. We'll move on to development permit applications. File number DP 2017-100. Whenever you're ready, Kim. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's different in the computer than it is on the paper.
So I just want to confirm we're looking at development permit 2017-114. Is that what you have?
Yeah, that's what's on the computer, and on the little sheet you handed out, you had 100 as the first one. Yeah. So whichever one you want to do. Are you doing the 114?
Yes.
DP 2017-114 is the one we'll do.
So we've bumped 114 to the top. That way we're not doing musical chairs.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you. All right, so the request for decision is for Northwest 7, 2721 Plan 5756 AW Block 94 in Rosebud. The owner of the parcel is Wheatland County, and the applicant is Symbiotic Envirotech, Inc. The recommendation is that MPC choose option 1, approval of the development permit 2017-114 with the following conditions. This development permit is issued for a temporary wastewater pilot project defined as an essential public service. A variance has been granted to reduce the 300-meter setback to 60 meters to the nearest residence. Development shall proceed according to the Public Utility District requirements and must conform to all applicable provisions of the Wheatland County Land Use Bylaw. Applicant to adhere to the application and letter of intent. Applicant to provide a letter under seal from an engineer confirming that there will be no negative impacts from the reduced setback prior to operation of the project. Permit to be issued for a period of 8 months expiring on July 31st, 2018. And then we have our 2 standard notes. The applicant is proposing to install a temporary algae wastewater treatment facility within the hamlet of Rosebud. This is a temporary pilot project which will operate for 6 to 8 months. The site chosen for the project is adjacent to the existing tank and septic field in Rosebud. Just going to go to my report. According to the application, Symbiotic Envirotech Inc. intends to erect a temporary process building, 2 probiotic reactors, and water storage tanks. The purpose of the pilot project is to conduct an assessment of the feasibility of the symbiotic algae cultivation system to treat the municipal effluent from the Rosebud collection system to meet the discharge standards of Alberta Environment and Parks municipal wastewater guidelines. The applicant is applying for a variance. According to Section 12.4 of the Subdivision and Development Regulations, subject to Section 5, a subdivision authority shall not approve an application for subdivision for the purposes of developing a wastewater treatment plant, and a development authority may not issue a permit for the purposes of developing a wastewater treatment plant unless the working area of the wastewater treatment plant is situated at least 300 meters from any school, hospital, food establishment, or residence or building site for a proposed school, hospital, food establishment, or residence. Section 12.5 of the Subdivision and Development Regulation states that the requirements in subsection 2 to 4 may be varied by a subdivision authority or development authority with the written consent of the Deputy Minister of Environment and Sustainable Resource Development. The proposed location of the pilot project to the nearest residence is 60 meters. On August 15th, Council passed a resolution requesting a letter be sent to AE&P to consent to a reduced setback for the pilot project. A letter has been received by AE&P on August 28th, consenting to reduce the setback distance for the pilot project. The consent is based on Wheatland County being responsible for addressing any complaints arising from the reduction of the setback distance. The equipment will draw sewage from the central storage tank to water gas mixing unit, and once the LJ growth cycle is completed, the clear water will discharge to the septic field laterals or possibly hauled to Clooney. The application states this is a closed system with no odor or hazardous materials. The site will be fenced, there'll be no outdoor storage, traffic will be limited to 1 to 2 trips per day, and the site will operate 24 hours a day. The application does not meet the Subdivision and Development Regulations, Section 12.4, and essential public service is deemed a permitted use within the public utility district. An application for a variance request exceeding 10% shall be referred to the Municipal Planning Commission. Agency circulation was performed to Alberta Health Services. No response was received. Alberta Environment and Parks, a consent letter has been received. Alberta Transportation, a roadside development permit has been received. The WID had no concerns. Internal circulation, there are no concerns. And neighborhood circulation was done to a 300-meter radius, and we received 1 response in support of the application. So again, the recommendation is to approve the application with the conditions that I read. This is the location right here, and I did put that 300-meter radius. This is approximate. It's very hard on our mapping system to get the exact 300-meter. I did include the site plan that the applicant provided, and this is the closest residence right here. There's also across the road, of course, we have a large portion of Rosebud. AE&P's letter of consent is included in your package. I did go out, do some site inspections. This particular photo, I'm standing on the prepared site looking south at the tanks right here. I'm looking southeast towards the seed cleaning plant. Northeast towards the residences and the oxbow that's on the site. This church isn't very far, it's just to the north across the road. This is looking northwest. This is the bed and breakfast just across the road. And then this is the closest residence. It's 60 meters away, and it's just looking south from the parcel. And then I have included the neighbor's response as well in your package. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Any questions or concerns? Don? Okay. Push it again. Okay.
Is this process being used in other towns, and how successful is it?
So I'm not able to answer that. I'm sorry, but is the applicant here today? Yes, so.
Please come up and turn the mic on, please, Kim, for him. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
In answer to your question, as you may be aware, we were hauling the effluent from Rosebud to Olds and ran a year-long trial. So that's the only time it's been set up in another jurisdiction.
Okay. And Brenda, you got a question?
Yeah. I like the whole idea. I'm in support of the project all the way through. So air exhaust from those. So
Pardon me? Say
they're
that
not
again?
vented at all? And if they are, is there a diffuser or something on it that does that? The tanks themselves with the effluent.
They're vented mainly to atmosphere, but it's an enclosed unit,
Okay.
and it actually takes in the effluent and it produces oxygen. So after about a day or so, the odor that you'll get is
Gone.
gone.
Okay. Good. That's all
And
that
the
mattered
odor,
to
the
me was the
odor
odor.
isn't unbearable, and you have to be pretty much in the immediate vicinity.
To get it.
Yeah.
That's- All right. No, thank you. That's all.
It's no worse than what's there right now. Like, we were on the site here, a few times during the summer, and there's an odor there just standing
Right.
from, what's coming out of the ground.
Okay, any other questions? Well, do you have any more comments?
Just that, I appreciate the fact that you're recommending approval, and we're excited to get this going.
You're ready to get it installed? Okay, so you get it in this month yet, or you get approval? Hi, Mike.
Good morning. So through the chair, if MPC does approve this application, we will go forward and complete the site preparation, hopefully have the development in place by the end of the month.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other comments?
So once the site preparation work is complete, pardon me, once the site preparation work is complete, we estimate that it's going to take about 2 weeks or so to have the equipment delivered and set up and commissioned. We'd anticipate that sometime in December, we should be operational,
Okay,
and it'll run 6 months.
okay. Bernice?
Through the chair, this is in regards to that one resident, like they were covered by trees. So the aroma won't affect them at all, or does it now?
No, and if you look at the way they are situated, any prevailing winds or anything like that, it's taking the odor east, not
Not west, not
southwest.
south, okay.
So they'll be fine.
Through the chair, I'm just glad to see it's finally. I didn't think it would take this long when we started this process.
Thank you, Father.
So, good luck with it anyways.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, yeah, it's excited to get it going. And the only other thing that I was wondering about, I noticed that there was like just 1 to 2 visits a day. There is a strong possibility that government people are going to be coming from all over to see this. So there may be more on occasion than 1 to 2 per day. Visits, yes.
What is the volume of material that can be handled?
Well, in this pilot, we're only drawing, on the initial draw, it's going to be 2,000 liters. And we're going to be harvesting off 1,600 liters every 4 days. The other 400 remains in the units as seed for the next day's crop, or the next run's crop. And we'll be harvesting off probably, I would say, close to 2 kilograms of biomass that will be collected and sent to the National Research Council in Halifax to be processed into a bio crude. And then that will come back to Alberta to a company here that's going to be analyzing it for its properties as a drilling lubricant, a biodegradable drilling lubricant. So the entire process will produce no waste and clean water, and they're daring me to drink it at the end of the process. I'm having, you know, some second thoughts about that because I know what's there right now. Yeah. So yeah, clean water and usable biomass.
Okay. Ellis?
On your permit, it's good till July of 2018.
Yes.
Is that sufficient time for you to finish your test?
Yes, Alberta environment requires us to do 30 cycles. A cycle, we're harvesting every 5th day, so that's less than 6 months, but we're giving ourselves, you know, a couple of months extra, and Kim's recommendations as well to, you know, in the event, you know, some unexpected events occur.
Issues. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any comments from the public? No. Board's wishes? Oh, Angie?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering if... Oh, sorry, thanks, Kim. If Envirotech could come back at the end of the project and give us an overall view and update on what was right, what was wrong, for just further information out to the public that we could put on the website?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think it's a requirement too of the AEP condition that a report be filed with them for further consideration of approval of the technology as a, you know, ecological solution for treating wastewater in small communities.
How long do you think this report would be?
Well,
I'm thinking maybe the residents of Rosebud would like to hear it too. Would it be appropriate to have one there, or
of course,
an
yeah.
open house and
We'll-
show them what the conclusions were? Or?
Yeah, we'll be happy to share that report with anyone that's interested in it, actually.
Well, when we get closer to the time, maybe
Yes.
we can arrange something like that for sure. Okay. Anything else? Brenda?
A motion
Go
to.
ahead.
So I'll move development permit 2017-144, or 114, sorry, dyslexia there, for approval with the conditions as stated.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thanks for coming in. Now, I'm thinking we're going to go to DP 2017-100.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So yes, this development permit is for Del Huber and Pamela Hilton in the Northwest 28, 21, 26. And the resolution or the recommendation is that MPC choose option 1, approval of the application with the following conditions. This development permit is issued for the purpose of an existing manufactured dwelling to be utilized as a garden suite, defined as a dwelling garden suite, and a cabin defined as a dwelling single detached. Variance has been granted allowing the garden suite to be located 270 feet from the primary residence. A variance has been granted allowing the garden suite to be larger than the primary residence and to be more than 1,200 square feet. Development shall proceed according to AG requirements. No permanent development on or over any utility right-of-way or easement, and the applicant to ensure the approach is developed to county standards. So the applicants would like to use an existing dwelling that's already on site as a garden suite, and a variance will be required for the size and proximity to the primary dwelling. And I'll go through my report. So the applicants were approved for subdivision in September of 2017, but the conditions of subdivision are in the process of being completed, so the parcel has not yet been registered with land titles. Therefore, this proposal needs to be addressed so that it's viable with or without the subdivision in place. The current parcel is greater than 80 acres, which allows for 2 permanent dwellings. However, there are currently 3 dwellings on the property, a main house, a cabin, and a manufactured dwelling. The applicants had received a permit in 2003 for a temporary dwelling, which would allow for the 3rd dwelling on the property, which was the manufactured dwelling. And that permit expired in 2006. The current land use bylaw no longer allows for temporary dwellings, therefore a permit cannot be renewed as such. So the applicants are proposing to utilize the existing cabin as the primary residence and the existing manufactured dwelling as a garden suite. Should the main house be subdivided out as per the recent approval, it would still be possible to utilize the cabin as the primary residence and the manufactured dwelling as the garden suite on a 49.6 acre parcel. The land use bylaw stipulates that the type of dwelling which can be considered the primary residence in order to qualify to have a garden suite and a manufactured dwelling would not be allowed to be the primary residence according to our current land use bylaw. A variance is requested because the bylaw states that a garden suite must be a maximum of 40 feet from the primary residence, and this proposed garden suite would be 270 feet from the cabin. Additionally, a primary residence is supposed to be larger than the garden suite, and this garden suite is supposed to be, or it's supposed to be a maximum of 1,200 square feet. And in this case, the garden suite is the larger of the 2 residences, and it doesn't meet the 1,200 max size. It's actually 1,520 square feet. So a dwelling garden suite is a discretionary use in the Ag General District. It meets all the requirements of a garden suite with the exception of those that I've already mentioned, that the square footage is supposed to be smaller than the primary residence. It's not supposed to be larger than 1,200 square feet, and it is supposed to be 40 feet from the primary residence, which it's not. It doesn't have actually a similar architectural style either. Variances can be granted by the Development Authority with the following conditions: if it would not unduly interfere with the amenities of the neighborhood or materially interfere with or affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels, and the proposed development conforms with a similar use prescribed for that land or building in this bylaw. Agency circulation was not performed. File review meeting, there was no concerns. And neighbor circulation was performed within a mile with no responses received. So as mentioned, it is my recommendation to approve this application and then approve a permit for the cabin as a dwelling single detached with the variances as I've proposed. And here is the location plan southwest of Carsland along the bow there. Aerial photograph. So this is the primary resident, well, this is the main house. This is the cabin, and this is the manufactured dwelling, the proposed garden suite. This is with the subdivision that has been approved but has not yet been endorsed. So this portion would be subdivided off, leaving these 2 dwellings still on one parcel. That's the proposed garden suite existing, which was a temp dwelling. That's the cabin. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions, concerns? Any questions from the public? Not seeing any. Board's wishes? Don?
Some move we approve.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. And we'll go to development permit 2017-126.
And this is for Kevin Boucher and Kirsten Langan Boucher in the Southwest 6, 2425. Oops. And it is my recommendation that MPC choose option 1, which is approval with the following conditions. This is also for a garden suite, this application, which was a temporary dwelling as well. And the conditions are recommended as follows. The development permit is issued for the purpose of an existing manufactured dwelling to be utilized as a garden suite, defined as a dwelling garden suite. Variance has been granted, allowing the garden suite to be located 280 feet from the primary residence. Development shall proceed according to AG district requirements. No permanent development shall occur on or over any utility right-of-way or easement, and the applicant is to ensure the approach is developed to county standards. And I'll go through my report. So as mentioned, the applicant is proposing to install, this is the that's not the right report. We'll find it. I think we're at the end. We'll just, no, it's not in there. We will find it. Yeah, I'll find it in here. Oh, right here. So the applicants were approved for a temporary dwelling in 2008, 2011, 2014 for 3-year terms. The current approval expired in September 2017, and the applicants were unable to apply for a temporary dwelling permit because it is no longer allowed in this bylaw. So the applicants are applying to utilize the former temporary dwelling as a garden suite. A variance is requested because the bylaw states that a garden suite must be a maximum of 40 feet from the primary residence, and this suite is located 280 feet from the primary residence. The application meets all other provisions of the land use bylaw. So once again, it's in Ag General, so it's a discretionary use in the Ag General District. Meets all the provisions of a garden suite except for this 40 feet from the primary residence. Agency circulation was not performed. File review, there was no concerns. And neighbor circulation within a mile with no responses. So it is due to the fact that the dwelling was placed on the property prior to the adoption of the current land use bylaw. It is my recommendation that MPC choose option 1 to approve the application with the conditions that I've already read to you. And there is a location plan for east of Cheadle. And there is the 2 residences. This is the proposed garden suite. This is the primary, 280 feet in between. That's the proposed garden suite and the primary. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or concerns? Any comments from the public? Board's wishes.
I will so move DP 2017-126 along with the conditions.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Carried. I believe that's all there is to it.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks for coming in.